Yes, my friends, the Miami Dolphins are officially on the clock in NFL free agency, and with just $25.1 million in cap space, every move will count. General Manager Chris Grier faces a pivotal week that could define the future of this franchise. With the Dolphins set to miss the playoffs in 2024, the pressure is mounting, not just on Grier, but on head coach Mike McDaniel as well. If Miami falls short again in 2025, the duo may not last much longer. That reality makes every signing, every contract negotiation, and every roster move in the coming days absolutely crucial. In my opinion, Chris Grier should have been fired. If you agree, hit that like button hard. If possible, comment something like this: the Miami Dolphins need a new GM. So far, Miami's first move in free agency hasn't been an addition, it's a subtraction. Wide receiver Braxton Berrios is headed to Houston on a one-year, $2 million deal. It's a small move on the surface, but it signals a shift in the Dolphins' philosophy. With Malik Washington emerging as a potential slot receiver and return specialist, Miami felt comfortable letting Berrios walk. But this move is just the tip of the iceberg of what the Dolphins need to accomplish in free agency. The offensive line remains a glaring need, and Dolphins fans are hoping for at least one impact signing up front. Two names that have been repeatedly linked to Miami are Will Fries and James Daniels. Both interior linemen are coming off injury-shortened seasons but fit the Dolphins' zone blocking scheme perfectly. Miami needs to solidify the line in front of Tua Tagovailoa, and after losing Robert Hunt, adding experienced linemen on affordable contracts is a must. But it's not just the offensive line that needs reinforcement. The Dolphins' secondary could take a major hit with the likely departure of star safety Jevon Holland. Reports suggest the Carolina Panthers, New York Jets, and Tennessee Titans are among the teams interested in signing Holland, who could command a contract north of $15 million per season. That's a price Miami might not be willing or able to pay. Instead, the Dolphins could look at more budget-friendly options like Julian Blackmon, Andre Cisco, or Talanoa Hufanga, all of whom have been linked to the team. On the defensive side, the Dolphins are reportedly showing interest in linebacker Dre Greenlaw. The former San Francisco 49er is an elite run stopper and would fit perfectly in Miami's defensive scheme. However, sources indicate that Greenlaw's current asking price is higher than what the Dolphins are willing to pay, meaning this could be a waiting game. Another name to watch is linebacker Tyrell Dodson, a cheaper option Miami has also been inquiring about. Meanwhile, rumors continue to swirl about edge rusher Joey Bosa. The Chargers star is expected to hit the market, and Miami has been frequently mentioned as a potential landing spot. If healthy, Bosa would immediately upgrade the Dolphins' pass rush, adding to a group that already features Bradley Chubb and Jaylon Phillips. But injuries have plagued Bosa in recent years, and any deal would have to be structured carefully. The first few hours of free agency have already seen big moves around the league. The Kansas City Chiefs landed left tackle Jalen Moore on a 2-year, $30 million deal. Tampa Bay made two major additions, re-signing Chris Godwin to a 3-year, $66 million deal and bringing in pass rusher Haason Reddick on a 1-year, $14 million contract. The Chicago Bears bolstered their offensive line with a 3-year, $42 million deal for center Drew Dalman, and the Cincinnati Bengals kept defensive tackle B.J. Hill on a 3-year, $33 million contract. So, where does that leave the Dolphins? They haven't made a move yet, but the expectation is that Miami will target an offensive lineman and a safety as their first signings. Will it be Will Fries, James Daniels, Talanoa Hufanga, or will Chris Grier pull off a surprise move no one saw coming? Dolphins fans, what do you think? Should Miami go all in on protecting Tua, or should they prioritize the defense first? And what's your reaction to Braxton Berrios leaving for Houston? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned as we continue to track every move in Dolphins free agency. As the Miami Dolphins continue their quiet approach to free agency, the pressure is mounting. Fans are anxiously waiting for the first big move from Chris Grier, but so far, the front office has been patient, perhaps too patient. While other teams around the league are making major additions, Miami is still evaluating its options, particularly on the offensive line and in the secondary. One of the biggest concerns right now is the future of Jevon Holland. The star safety has been a fan favorite since he was drafted, but with multiple teams interested in signing him, his time in Miami may be coming to an end. Reports indicate that the Carolina Panthers are the frontrunners, with the New York Jets and Tennessee Titans also in the mix. The asking price? Likely in the range of $15 to $18 million per year, too rich for a Dolphins team that still has multiple holes to fill. So if Miami lets Holland walk, who could replace him? Julian Blackmon and Andre Cisco remain strong options, but the name that keeps coming up is Talanoa Hufanga. The former 49ers safety is a perfect scheme fit, and there's a connection with Mike McDaniel from their time together in San Francisco. The question is whether Miami is willing to make the financial commitment it would take to bring him in. Meanwhile, on the offensive line, things are getting interesting. Miami has been linked to multiple guards and centers, but no deal has been finalized yet. Will Fries remains a top target, but his market is heating up, and the price tag may be creeping higher than the Dolphins expected. James Daniels, another favorite among Dolphins fans, is still available, but concerns about his injury history could be slowing down negotiations. A new name that has emerged as a potential fit is Patrick Meckery. The Baltimore Ravens lineman is known for his versatility. He can play center, guard, or even tackle if needed. Chris Grier has always valued linemen who can move around, and Meckery's ability to fill multiple roles could make him an appealing option. If Miami wants to solidify its line while keeping costs under control, Meckery might be the perfect target. Another position that could see an addition soon is linebacker. The Dolphins have been in discussions with Dre Greenlaw, but the financial gap between the two sides remains an issue. However, Miami has also been linked to Buffalo Bills linebacker Tyrell Dodson, who would be a more affordable option. If the Dolphins decide to go with a cheaper signing at linebacker, it could free up cap space for a bigger move elsewhere. And then there's the Joey Bosa situation. The former Chargers edge rusher has been connected to Miami in multiple reports, and the idea of pairing him with Bradley Chubb and Jaylon Phillips is certainly exciting. But with Bosa's injury history, any potential deal would have to be structured carefully. Miami can't afford to invest heavily in another player who might struggle to stay on the field. Around the league, free agency is in full swing. The Kansas City Chiefs continue to bolster their roster, adding running back Elijah Mitchell after signing Jalen Moore earlier in the day. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have been among the most aggressive teams, retained Chris Godwin and added Haason Reddick to their defense. The Chicago Bears locked down center Drew Dalman, further strengthening their offensive line. So what's next for the Dolphins? Chris Grier has been patient, but the reality is that Miami needs to start making moves. The offensive line is still a concern. The safety position is a major question mark. The linebacker group could use a boost, and with the AFC only getting stronger, the Dolphins can't afford to sit back and wait too long. Dolphins fans, what do you think? Are you frustrated by Miami's slow start to free agency? Which player should be the Dolphins' top priority? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned as we bring you every update from Miami's free agency push. One factor that could be playing into Miami's slow approach is the state of the free agent market itself. While some big deals have already been signed, there is still a lot of talent available, and teams may be trying to wait out the initial wave of high-priced contracts to find better value. This strategy could work in Miami's favor if Chris Grier can land key players at a discount, but there's also a risk. Waiting too long could mean missing out on top targets altogether. Another element at play is the Dolphins' salary cap situation.